Hey everybody, Scout Crafty here again. It's Wednesday, midweek Wednesday. I hope you're enjoying your week so far. We have a little bit of a warm spell here today. Down the basement, want to get a couple things done. Today's project, what we're going to talk about first is, when you do videos, every once in a while, the funniest thing is somebody will recognize you. And, I remember when I drove a bus and then I retired because I'm local and I used to drive the bus here locally. Sometimes people will come up and say, "Hey, I know you from somewhere." And I'd be like, "Well, did you ever take the 25 button?" They'd be like, "Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah." So, but now, because I do these videos, the strangest thing, I was on the highway a couple months ago on the highway, and you all know my truck, right? So I'm on the highway and all of a sudden some guy's beeping the horn and I was like, "Oh God, who'd I cut off?" And the guy pulls next to me. I mean, he was driving fast. Pulls next to me and he's like, "I love your videos." It's like, wow. So I wasn't, like I said, it happens all over. We're worldwide, right? We're all over the place. But one thing that I found pretty cool is a couple of months ago, I get a notice, a letter in my mailbox that says, "My husband loves your videos and I live in town." And, he recognized one of the areas. He says, "I know where that is." Sure enough. So he only lives 3 blocks from me and he's been watching my videos and didn't even realize that we live in the same town. His name is John. Wife's name's Denise and has a beautiful daughter, Lara. So, we've been conversing back and forth, and John every once in a while brings something over. And let me show you, we're going to do today's project. Let me show you what he brought over. Pretty cool. Okay, so I look out on my porch and last night, and what do I see? This great package. I thought it was something I ordered, but I looked in there and said, "Wow, look at this. I don't remember ordering this." And let me unload to show you what it is. So John is a tool guy. John Sochran is a tool guy, and he's been at I guess he does this for a living, because I don't even know what he does for a living, but he must do something in the trade, because I know he knows different types of tools and things, and he dropped off a bunch of these. Look at this. Tempflex, and he knows I'm going to be doing these motors and whatnot. This is the high temperature 1700 degrees Celsius or 80 degrees Celsius operating temperature. So it's high temp tape. I never used it before, but looking forward to using it. Then he sent, he wrote a little note. He says, a couple things that he came across. But now this one here is missing the bolt. But see, this is a snap-on. And see that snap-on. And do you know what type of pliers these are? You can probably know. This is the old-fashioned hose clamp pliers. They got the little, which they still use, those type of ring clamps. And then he sent over a sledge head, a nice sledge head. So I said, well, I think today this is what we're going to tackle. So first of all, let's see if we can't get these snap-on to work again. Okay, now in order to fabricate this, these things, you don't usually see them lost, but you do see them mangled up. Now, I like to start with a carriage bolt. Anytime you don't have to do any extra machining or filing, it's always better. Now, you would look at this hole here, because this is the one that has to pass through. What you would do is this passes through. We can file that down a little bit with a file. It has to lock in here because this has to be stationary. And then this piece goes over. And you see how it's like a figure 8? Well, how this works is you want this to be like this and then up to go to the wider position, okay? So there has to be a flat, and you want the flat just to pass through that small section here, and the round to be just about that size. So this is too small, as you can see. So we go to the next size carriage bolt here. Now I can't get it through here without filing it, but you can see here how this will work. See, that's a nice fit there. Now if we had a flat filed on each side, we could move it past that flat like that. If I'm explaining it right, I'll show you what I mean. Now, step 1 is, while we still have, I have a little bit longer, we can use that to hold into the vise and not worry about screwing up the threads. We can always cut it later on to length. So leave it long. While it's round, there's no flats on here. Let's put it in the lathe. We don't want it too big. This is kind of a big head. So we'll reduce the head size. You could do that on a grind or a sanding belt or anything, but we got the lathe, we'll just use that. Now, once we have the approximate diameter of the size head that we want, then we just have to dome it. And to dome that, we will use this little shaping bit that I have, and I'll just run this across and drag it across to make a dome shape. Okay, a few minutes on the lathe, we took this head here and made it to look like that. You see? That looks much more appropriate. Now what we'll do is we have to file a flat on each side of here so that it will pass through here. It's got to pass through that because that's an oval, it's not a round. So we have to put a file, and we'll do that with the file. Again, that's why we kept this extra threading, so we can clamp this in the vise and not worry about it. And then we will file this square down to fit in there tightly so it don't move. Okay, you see here we filed the flat on one side, a flat on the other. Here is the tool. We'll place this in. You see it fits nicely, but it will not spin. That's what we want. Now, we just have to file this top square down so it fits in there the same way that it won't turn. That's the important thing. So let's do that now. But it's coming. Okay, you see we filed it down. The flat's on both sides. It's very tight. We had to just tap it in there. I mean, that's solid. Now you see how this mechanism works. You see there, that little hourglass design when you put this on? It's nice and loose here, but this will allow it to go up and down. But it can't move here. It's tight, open, close, open, close. It can't move the other way. So now all we have to do is make a nut, appropriate nut, and let's get to that. Now what we did here is took a piece of cold rolled steel. You could use anything, a bolt or anything, and drilled a hole, number F drill, tapped it with a 5/16 by 18. You see that beautiful tap threads in there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to profile the tip. We're going to curve the tip a little bit. You could do that on a file or a sander or a grinder, and then we're going to cut off a small piece, and that'll make our nut. This project done. Really enjoyed fixing this one up. You can see how that's that top piece there, and you can see here we peened it over, and now you can see no slippage. I mean, no rattle. Perfect, works perfect, nice and smooth. Just clean the handles up a little bit. These snap-on handles don't clean up like the channel lock ones. It seems like they're almost porous, so that's about the best you get. They're working man's pliers for sure. Snap-on, I don't usually restore snap-on tools, but this is just a fix, I think it came out presentable. Something you really probably wouldn't notice that was fixed. And that one's in the can. So let's go upstairs, have some lunch, see what's next. Okay, back from a delicious dinner, and today I'm going to finish up the rest of the project for today. One thing I want to mention, I went for my poor man's last night on my walk. I got to tell you, I got to show you something that I saw. I was a couple things. First of all, I saw this tombstone. I guess it's a Halloween prop, and somebody threw out, and I looked at it, and I said, man, it was actually heavy, like plaster. I said, that would be good to put on your property somewhere to keep away people that might have stumbled onto your property. They see that, and they figure, uh-oh, this guy's burying people on his property. But the thing that I saw, check out this go-kart, this aluminum go-kart. The key is you look up the block, you see like a lot of good garbage. You walk up that way, and sure enough, that go-kart, it was like obviously an electric, and I guess the battery was just dead. All it needed was a new battery. So the wheels were there. Man, even my girlfriend said, I'm surprised you didn't take that. I'm not a 10-year-old. I would never fit in that thing, but I just think that was the coolest thing ever, wasn't it? I wish I knew some young kid that, if I was still a scout leader, I would have grabbed it in a minute. But I don't know any kids, and I can't have it in my living room next to my lathe. Next up, John's sledgehammer head. Now, I weighed this. It weighs just under 3 pounds. Well, 2 1/3 pounds or so. I don't know what these markings are. 14. It's not ounces, obviously, so I don't know what that is or what that marking is. There's a bunch of markings on here. Somebody went nuts with the stamper, right? But I don't know. I think it looks like good steel. I don't see any chips, any marring. You know, just the typical forge, you know. What do you say we see if we can clean this up a little bit, okay? Okay, now this was just with the grinding wheel. That's a grinding wheel. You can see the grinding wheel, the fat, it leaves a terrible finish, but it gets rid of, this is a very hard surface. If you tried to do that with just your sanding disc, you would go through a dozen discs. So, you know, this is the way I found the most economical way to do it. Get through it with the grinding, get your approximations where you want to be. You got all the rust, the pitting out. Now we go over it with a 40 grit, new, because this is real hard, flap disc. And then you'll see that'll blend all this in. Okay, here we go with a 40. You can see what the 40 does, scratches, but now it blended all that together, all the grind marks, right? Now we'll do it with a finer, and we'll work our way down, probably 120. Now, if any of you have been on the fence about making one of these poor man's air filtration systems, please just do it. It's so worth the money. Look at the dust that this captured in just one. Well, I mean, this thing stirs up a lot. Sledgehammers are the worst, and crowbars are the worst for kicking up. But look at that. That all would have been fine particles, possibly in my lungs. You got to make one of these. It's definitely worth the money. Now, you know my favorite part. Remember what this sledgehammer head looked like before we started. And we're calling this project done. Boy, look how nice this came out, huh? And now we can see what, again, I did it in a satin, but still reflective, right? That's pretty nice. Look at that. US, again with the 14, nice stampings on there. I don't know what they are, but I like them now. And there's a number 3 down here. But check this out. Look how nice. Look at that. Isn't that just beautiful compared to what it was? And see, and then take the wax off the top here. I gave it a little waxing. Oh, that's nice, huh? Just a beautiful, this is just so sweet, so smooth in the hand. This is what a sledgehammer really, until you feel one polished up and stuff, it's a hunk of metal that you beat on. If you would like to see me put this on a handle, or handle it as it's called, let me know in the comments. I could do that, but just I wanted to get this done today because John sent this over, and you know, I wasn't sure what it was, but just absolutely beautiful, huh? What a nice size too. I love that size sledgehammer. Okay, so in closing, that is a messy job, believe me. Those sledgehammers, crowbars, anything like that that's forged, it's a lot of work too. A couple hours to get it like that. So special thanks to John for this cool project. Again, let me know if you want to see it handled. And I hope you have a great rest of the week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Take care now. Bye-bye.